Hello and welcome to another Doctor Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing a review of Logopolis, which is Tom Baker's last story. Now this is, if you want to be pedantic, there's bound to be someone who's going to go, oh, this isn't technically the correct figure because to go with this episode because he's in his season 12 costume and not his season 18. Yes, I know, but I don't have the season 18 figure. I want it because it's a variant of Tom Baker and I like Tom Baker's Doctor the most. But the only thing is, I don't actually like the season 18 costume that much. I think it's one of his worst costumes, personally. That's just my personal preference. So, yeah. And also, they unfortunately, Underground Toys or Character Options or whomever do the figures, haven't released any figure of Adric, Nyssa, or Tegan. Out of the three, I don't want the Tegan one, but nonetheless, so that's why I don't have any of the companions. And I don't have the Anthony Ainley Master figure. That's the only Master figure that I need. So yeah, I was gonna show the page off in this review, but I've changed my mind, and I'm not gonna show you the pages until I review the actual box set, because technically I'm reviewing each episode individually. So yeah. Anyway, onto the episode. What did I think? So Logopolis, which is Tom Baker's last story. Now, if you're not aware, Tom Baker is the longest running Doctor, and that's even including all the new series Doctors. He did it for 7 years, 1974 till 1981, I think. So yeah, quite a long tenure. As much as anything, I think that in itself is the only downside to his Doctor, or his Doctor's sort of run. The fact that it was so long that I think towards the end a lot of his episodes get worse, but there are still some hidden gems. You know, Destiny of the Daleks, I don't mind so much. Most people say it's a rubbish story. I think it's a bad Davros story, but a decent Dalek story. You know, City of Death, that one's a good one. You know, there are, still some decent ones towards the end of his tenure. Anyway, Logopolis, what did I think? I don't like, as I say, his costume in this story. I feel like he's somewhat, there's something about him that Tom Baker isn't just as spry, he's not like, running around and being all like, would you like a jelly baby? Brigadier, sort of thing. He's not as playful, he's not as energetic, he's not as bounceful, he's not as youthful, because he's been doing it for nearly 6 to 7 years, 7 years and that. And so, yeah, he's very, much more stripped back, very much more less energetic, much more just, like weary and run down a bit, and that I feel like in this story. Companion-wise, I felt like the only real companion that was needed was Adric. Nyssa and Tegan don't really do anything to push the narrative. I do love the special effect for the regeneration scene. It's unique to Tom Baker's story. The Watcher, as soon as he sees the Watcher in the story, he knows that, it's the end. His last words, oh my god, they always make me feel make me either cry or make me feel just sad and actually really depressed, which is powerful storytelling, when he's like, it's the end, but the moment has been prepared for. Sort of thing. And then it's like, no, he looks so sad, and he looks like, like he knows that it'll never be the same, or like it'll never, that he'll never be as happy as he's been being the Doctor, But the thing is, he wasn't playing the Doctor, he was, he was the Doctor, I thought. So, but I think with Jon Pertwee and Tom Baker, who are two of the biggest regarded Doctors, you ask most people, and most people outside the fandom or inside the fandom will say, Tom Baker or Jon Pertwee for best Doctors, and I think that's the only problem. The problem lies with them being so popular that their finale can never live up to everyone's expectations, and I think that's the major problem. I think production value wise, this one's weak. Story wise, it's meh. You know, it's decent, it's enjoyable, but it's meh. You know, it's very meh. You know, it's very derivative, very basic. You know, and that. But I guess it has to be because a lot of people might start with Logopolis, or you know, Castrovalva onwards, or Logopolis and then Castrovalva and so on. You know, so you know, it kind of needs to be kind of basic. Tegan's introduced pretty decently, you know, she's a very one-dimensional character, you know, the only thing we know really about her is that she wants to be an air stewardess. Nyssa is not needed in this story, I felt like, and Adric is probably the best, as I said, side character. Anthony Ainley is... It's his first appearance as the Master, really, or his first story, and I think from the get-go, he, you know, hits the ground running, basically. You know, he's very good, very menacing, very dark, very, you know, as I say, menacing, dark, intelligent, brooding character, you know, and plays off Tom Baker very well, you know, and I like the similarities and differences between the Master and the Doctor. You know, the Doctor's like, he read my mind, and then Adric's like, what? He read your mind? And then Tom Baker's Doctor is like, the Fourth Doctor's like, of course he did. We're Time Lords. In some ways, we have the same mind. And it's like, oh my god. You know, just to think that Anthony Ainley's Master would have the same mind as Tom Baker's is like, oh my god. You know, and then there's the, you know, TARDIS in a TARDIS sort of thing, and that was pretty decent. You know, majority of the time, Tegan was not needed because she was just running around the TARDIS, so that was annoying. Nyssa was just, you know, possessed by the Master for a while. Adric was actually, as I say, kind of pushing the narrative forward. You know, but I don't know, I think I'd probably give this story a 7 out of 10. I do like The Watcher, I do like this story, but it's very basic. Tom Baker just feels like, I don't know, the Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker plays the Fourth Doctor in this story just very, I don't know, very stripped back, very, I don't know, he's very, you know, he's very different from when, you know, comparing him to season 12, like, all I could think of was, wow, he's changed so much, you know, he's very much more, you know, kind of, I don't know, blunt, aggressive, you know, kind of character, you know, like, he seems to be shouting a lot at Adric, he seems to be very, you know, I don't know, like, less happy-go-lucky, very worn, you know, worn out. But I guess that was because Tom Baker was sick of John Nathan Turner or new directors and new people, you know, coming in and saying, oh no, you need to stand that way, or you need to stand this way, you know, and run down this corridor that way and not this way, you know, sort of thing. And he was like, yeah, whatever, I know how to run down a corridor, I've been doing it for nearly 7 years now, you know. Sort of thing, and yeah, he apparently became harder to work on sets with and stuff like that. So, you know, and I don't like his title sequence. You do not associate that title sequence with Tom Baker's tenure. You associate that with Peter Davison's, and just the fact that they changed it was stupid. You know, they should have waited until it was, you know, Castrovalva and then used that one. And apparently Batman March did say in a video recently that he did that that, you know, Tom Baker did have an actual variant sort of still for that sort of time vortex where he was actually looking a lot happier. But I'm guessing John Nathan Turner, the douche that he was, you know, picked out the one where he looked more sad so that people would be like, ugh, who's this sad sack, you know, sort of thing, and be like, ugh, you know, get the next guy in, sort of thing. And yeah, I think there was a lot of, you know, stuff around the politics of the show, and that's why Tom Baker left, and stuff like that. And he'd done 7 years, so he'd done more than anyone else thought he'd do, or anything like that. So, you know, I think his predecessor did 5, so yeah. So he beat his predecessor. And yeah, I don't know, it's an enjoyable episode. It's a 4-part story, so it's one of the shorter episodes out of 4 first regenerations. It's tied with 10th planet for shortest. There's no real pacing issues. I thought it went by pretty quickly. It uses a bit of CGI towards the end, but not too much that it's like cringeworthy or it ruins the narrative or anything like that. So all in all, the Master's brilliant. Tom Baker is okay. You know, the Fourth Doctor's okay in this story. Adric's really good. Nissa's okay. Tegan's meh as well. You know, but I don't know. It's his last story, so it's a must-have. You know, for any fan of the Fourth Doctor era or Doctor Who, sort of the history of the show. It's a biggie. You know, one of the most popular Doctors is going out. You know, and so it's a biggie, and it is really sad when he leaves. And I was upset. You know. Every time I watch this episode. So yeah, I'd give it a well-earned 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.